Twitch, it just like kicked me off and then it kicked me back on again. My bad, y'all. Sorry. I wasn't anticipating that. I literally just said, hey, if you throw some shorts on, you can come on the stream with me. That's funny. So this week is fairy core week for aesthetics. So this is the closest I could get to fairy. I look like the angel of darkness. But yeah, I ended up finding this wing set, which is fully encased, by the way. Super awesome. I don't know who built this, who made this, but when you threw it and gave it away, guess what? Now it's being internationally shown. So you never know what happens, you know? Sometimes your creations, even if you think that it's stupid or that it's not good enough, end up being the best thing for somebody else. So kudos to you or whoever made this. It's really awesome. I love the design of it too. It like actually moves with your shoulders, which is cute. It does not have any mechanics. It's legitimately like cardboard and feathers, and a lot of feathers. Not even a little bit, a lot. Look at this. Look at the detail work on that. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, some of the feathers did come loose and come out in some spots, so it does look sporadic. But I don't care. That just means that it's weather torn, right? It's been through some battles, just like the rest of us. So, but yeah, this is. Oh, hold on, get my hair out of the way. That's the back of it. I mean, it's pretty stout for cardboard and feathers. I mean, like I said, it's got a bunch of detail, and it's super cool looking. I love it. I've had this thing sitting in the corner of my room for like months now, and I haven't even like had a chance to put it on or anything. And when I thought about it this morning, I was like, well, for Fashion Saturday, remember yesterday we were talking about fairy core, and I was like, well, I don't really have anything fairy. Like I have like a butterfly wing like shawl looking thing, but that's about it. I don't have anything that's like has actual wings. So I don't know what this was made for, but it was pretty freaking cool. Hope you guys enjoy it. So, and one good thing is that so far it's not too terribly itchy, because it is kind of poking my back a little bit, but that's okay, because I feel like that's how birds would feel also. Sometimes their feathers poke themselves. If I'm a bird, you're a bird, babe. Didn't even hear me. I bet. So on my little calendar that Jeff gave me, I didn't know that it only goes to a certain point and then you flip it over. So today is the day that we flip it over. So July 2nd, new calendar. We need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. And that was from Michelle Obama. And that's true. I always talk about that, you know, about us doing self-care and, you know, recognizing self and working from internals outward. So, and like I said, the next 6 months or 5 months actually are going to be crucial for us to be able to start really focusing on that healing, because, you know, coming into the new year, we want to go into the new year fresh and new and excited and looking forward to new opportunities and, you know, what the possibilities are going to bring. Being aware of all of the things that we've been in the past, you know, all the things that we've been through and all the experiences and the losses that we've had, understanding and knowing that will give us the backbone that we need to be able to take the decision now to take that step forward into our future. So, and I know I keep repeating myself in all of these, you know, different streams and stuff. But it's meant to legitimately drill that into your brain, so this way you can start thinking about what that means for you. because each person's healing process and each person's coping mechanisms, their learning abilities, their physical or mental health abilities may vary from person. Everybody's different. So, like I said, however that means for you in whatever industry that you're thinking about or whatever topic that's in your mind that you want to try to possibly utilize this in a way that is beneficial for that, and you can, just because somebody says something to you or like gives you advice doesn't mean that it's in that moment. It also doesn't mean specifically to take it directly. It could mean to utilize it in another aspect of your life. Um, or not take it at all, because you do have that option. You have that choice as to whether or not you're willing to accept outside influences into your inner world. And that's something that you have to recognize also, is that you have the power to control that. So anyway, so yeah, we do need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. And that is from Michelle Obama. Whether you like Michelle Obama or not doesn't matter. It's just the fact of the matter of the information transfer, right? So, and the reminder, because there's things in everyone's life that may or may not remind us of whatever it is that our baseline is for our everyday, right? Because we get caught up in the instantaneous moment of our everyday, even if it's mundane. Um, we forget that background thought processes, and that's another reason why I keep saying and imploring for you guys to continue to use your imagination and continue to think of new ways of doing things, because it's the only way that we're going to be able to push forward through all of this stuff. So, um, and especially for next generations, you know, think about how are they being raised and what is their experience of Earth so far. I mean, if you were raised in the past 10, 20 years, how do you perceive Earth? How do you perceive life? What you were told how Earth was versus how it ended up being in your own perspective is going to be two completely different things. So, I mean, it's not going to be one constant across the board, especially if you live in different countries or if you're, from different places or whatever, right? So, or have different backgrounds. Some of us, like myself, are only child. So, which is a rarity now. You don't hardly hear about that. And especially for my age, you don't really hear about only children for like the 40s range, right? Usually there's two or more. So, like for you guys, you may have had siblings. I never experienced what it was like to have siblings. I mean, I had cousins that I was raised around, but it's not the same thing. So, for those of you who had multiple siblings, I will never understand your connection with your siblings. The closest connection that I ever had to what would be something like that is with me and my children. But that's a different dynamic entirely. So, again, going back to, I can, understand where you're coming from, but I'm never going to fully, like, know what you're meaning. It's seeming to me that Kick is all just people trying to promote themselves, which is totally fine. So let's see. All right. So going back to the original message for today, today's a monthly weigh-in. We are currently sitting at 220, which is more than I anticipated, and I'm very disappointed in myself. And I don't know about Jeff. So, babe, did you weigh in today? Babe? Hello? Jeff, did you weigh in today?
What?
Did you weigh yourself today?
What? I'm listening to something. I can't hear.
Did you weigh yourself today?
I can't hear you.
Can you weigh yourself real quick?
What?
Never mind.
I'm sorry. I just got a minute more.
Okay. Anyway. I thought maybe he already did, so I was just going to ask him what the number was, but I guess he didn't do it yet, so. Okay. So basically 220 still. Very disappointed. The goal is 186. So we'll see if we can at least get under 200. So there's that. Monthly weigh-in, 0 change. Let's see. Morning messages. Already did those. So weather.
What was you saying?
I was saying, did you weigh yourself this morning?
I can't believe you told me that.
No, I just was asking if you weighed yourself. I was just gonna ask you if you had a number that I could just write down real quick. If not, can you just?
I haven't weighed myself yet.
Okay.
I wasn't even.
I really need to like work on my control issues. Get on the fucking scale. No, I'm just kidding. So building out Fashion Saturday is, like I said, the next 5 months. And background waterfall noises. Thanks, Jeff. Enjoy that ASMR. So 5 months, you're doing a baseline plus making sure for weather weekly, because it just changes like that. It changes every day in North Carolina. So this makes you like not want to come to kick. All of these. Guess what? I can promote too. So there we go. Let's see. Yeah, this is like the 3rd time I've streamed on Kick, and every single time I come on here, it's like bombardment. So I don't know, whatever. And I don't have like whatever controls of it. I don't have mods. It's all good. I don't trust mods. I don't trust people, period. I definitely don't trust AI, that's for damn sure. And we're working on stuff. So, like I said, weather changes weekly or daily, depending on where you're at. So just keep that in mind. And so OOTD today is the Fairy Core. I didn't get 10 picks, but because this isn't an item that's for sale, so I'm not entirely worried about it. But for social media purposes, yeah. Let's see. So Twitter, LinkedIn, and Snap and Fet are today for socials. Morning routine today was that we actually did get up earlier today because I went to bed earlier last night, which is awesome. I did not do a dream journal, but I can go ahead and tell you I was cooking a T-bone steak while I was sleeping. For everyone, I was cooking steaks for everybody. It was awesome. So where was I? Dream journal, shower, and weather check. Like I said, today's weather check is 87 is the high today, so it's not terrible, but it is still muggy and nasty out. Hair already, well, I just brushed it. Did not do makeup today. And my nails have been the same. So There's that. Fashion Saturday calendar, verifying weather changes, um, weekly. Special events and holidays are good starting points, um, especially for your daily wardrobe. The week number is based on the aesthetics master list. So, for those of you who've never done that before, you can just Google aesthetic master list and it just gives you the generator anyway. You could utilize that for any content creation, especially if you're like a makeup artist or like a fashion baseline, which for fashion, you're not really going to do this that much unless you're like utilizing aesthetics. Um, Same thing for hair, nails, outfits, shoes, accessories. You can get inspiration from anywhere. So allow that to kind of help you utilize that. Hey, Arshman. Geological metronomical, whatever. Um, so, where was I at? Okay. Keep a backup bag for fashion emergencies naturally, like weather. If you have to fix an item on your clothing. For those of you who've ever been to Comic Con, you totally understand where I'm coming from. OOTDs, I said do 10 picks, but that's if it's a sale item. Um, so holidays and events and birthdays, like I said for the OOTDs. So once you have that done, and that's first thing in the morning, like once you get done with everything, or if you're going live and you're streaming your content and you're doing your makeup, your hair, your nails, your whatever, or your outfits, and this goes for any gender, it doesn't have to be specifically women. Uh, so, you do your morning routine, you're taking pictures, you're doing your videos, you're doing all this stuff, right? Make sure that you're adding that to, if you have a multi-posting tool, that you can scrub your content with and make sure that there's no watermarks. If not, then you're going to need to set up time for your editing. But make sure that you're entering that information into your multi-posting so this way you have content, straight content, which is your posts, your mini clips, your stories, your your what you call it? Where am I going here with this? Your posts, your streaming, your lives, your clips, your like every little bits that you get, right? Not live streams. Although you can do live stream in the background while you're getting the content creation from taking photos while you're going live or taking the clips of the video itself. You can take screenshots, you can do small mini clips, you can do longer clips for, like, say, if you have like a longer section that you need to have, like for TikTok or something like that. Um, Same concept, right? So you have your minier sections along with your longer, which is your lives, your longer like podcasts or like the ones that you end. Usually the lives end too, but some people actually stream the entirety of their life. So um, the more that you record, the more content that you're getting because of the fact that you're not just able to get pictures and little clips from it. Like you're able to get the full video, you're able to get like different angles if you need to, especially for those of you who use multiple different kinds of equipment to get different angles for different content creation, like what I'm doing with my phone and my laptop, kind of thinking like a bot farm. Different angles equal different content. So you're never getting the same exact content from each one of your platforms. So you can't say that it's a static content, even if it is the same stream and it's the same content. It's just either A, in a different direction or a different angle. So the perspective is different, right? And that's the whole point in me doing this with different angles, is so this way you guys can get a different perspective every time. Even if it's the same information, you're getting a different perspective of it. So my followers will come because I built it. So, I was given this idea and continuously given these ideas by the universe for a reason. It's not given to me and enforced by me for no reason at all. The reason why it was given to me is because I know in the future my clients, my fans, my followers, the people that are understanding of where I'm coming from and the people that are of my vibe, my tribe, my energy, my aura, they're all going to be attracted to what it is that I'm doing. My people will come to me in time. I do not need to buy my people, okay? Um so there's that. My authenticity will shine brighter than any money that you give. So Um, let's see. So there. So make sure that each one of your socials, when you do have this multi-posting set up, whether you have it where you're doing it like the way that I've originally described, where you're doing a certain amount of socials per day, but since the algorithm changed, now we're having to do this push, pulse, pull of, trying to figure out where our sweet spot is in this whole tidal wave of nonsense, right? So, um, the best bet that I had for light touch was to 9 a.m. post. I don't know if that was someone knocking or if that was the cat. Hold up. If I answer the door like this person's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
What's going on?
Oh, I thought someone was knocking on the door.
Well,
Okay.
are you hearing things?
Nope, it's just the construction people outside.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, back. Flying, flapping in, coming in for landing. Look, baby.
What?
Look at the wings when I try to scoot the chair. It's like my wings are flapping.
You know what? Now you just need either horns or a halo, right?
Well, I could use both. My horns will hold up my halo. So anyway. Make sure that, like I said, if you have something that you can scrub your content with, make sure that it does not have watermarks. Include any kind of link tree or, the link in bio bullshit that you end up like not ever getting a click from because nobody ever wants to go look at it. Like I said, it's the 1.5 to 3 seconds is all you get. That's how much time you have to put that information out there, and that's how much time you have to keep putting it out there. So, trying to find the new algebraic expression for this is going to be really interesting because we have now amplified um, what was already in existence by like 1,000. I don't know if that's the actual math, but like, you get what I'm saying, right? There are ways that you can actually break this down into a mathematical equation to where you can find that little like sweet spot in the middle of all of that to include your information in, so that way again you can ride that tidal wave that's happening right now, especially for those of you who are monetized or are working on monetizing. So I personally am pulling together all of the information to monetize each and every single one of my social medias right now. I'm just looking at where I'm at and where I need to be and what I need to do to get there, right? We're finding the little invisible steps to get to our goals. These are things that I have constantly been thinking about, but never actually implemented, okay? A lot of times we start diving into a project and we don't realize how many different angles of different kinds of steps that we have to take. It's all fucking IKEA out here. You got to build that shit yourself. So, and sometimes you don't get instructions, and the instructions that you do get are like in another language. So you have to take the time to learn, right? Sometimes there's some background stuff that you got to go dive deep into, that little rabbit hole on the side that ends up pulling you into another freaking dimension and taking you completely away from your original thought, which happens to me all the time. So because of that, I needed a pinpoint location that I can always come back to, and that is my PDF. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be coming live soon, hopefully. Please pray for me. So, for social medias, at least the ones that I have, now y'all may have some different. I have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Lemonade, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Patreon, Pinterest, Reddit, Quora, and then I have the 18 plus sites. So the other ones that are already in existence have your baseline information, have it written down. Because if for some reason the internet goes out or if we lose power or whatever, that way you have it. You know what I'm saying? Or if we get hacked or some bullshit, you know what I mean? That way you can start over fresh again. And if you have to start from zero, which we do here, we start from zero. We understand that the crash and burn is part of the process and it sucks, but the pain helps us move forward. Um, so when we have a social media that's kind of like stuck in limbo, especially one, if you have one that's not verified already, okay, you can create a new one. Transfer that information over. Usually the secondary social media ends up working better than the first one ever did. It's weird. It's just how it is. For those of you who are verified, you're probably not going to be able to do that. And if you are, you're going to end up looking like a bot. So people aren't even going to follow you anyway. So, but anyway, so make sure that, you know, for those of you who are trying to monetize or trying to get your social media pushed forward, that you're including, you know, in your paper copies, all of the information from the background of what it is that you have there, right? It's always, you know, always good to have a paper backup. Same thing to always have an online digital backup in case if the paper backup gets messed up. You know, those of us who have experienced, you know, severe weather events, let's just say that, okay? We know what it's like to lose all of our information in a moment, okay? So, those of you who all of your information is on your phone and then you break your phone or your phone gets dropped on the ocean or some shit, like, you know what it's like. I mean, thank God for cloud, but whatever. For those of you who are not, you know, savvy enough to continue to update your background backup information, please do that today. Back up your phones and your information. There, I said it louder for those in the back. Baby girl, what are you doing? You're about to get your ass beat. What are you doing? Get down. Get down. Come on. Come on, left side. Here. Go outside. I can't really open the door that much, so you're going to have to figure out something. Go outside. Back. Yes, there's people out there. You just going to stand in the door? Watch out. Let me pause before you get yourself hurt. You're just going to stand there and look at the people. Just stand there now. Bored. Anyway. So. The next step, like I said, if you're trying to make your stuff monetized, make sure that you're writing down or getting an idea of what the requirements are, however you need to learn it. My way, I have to write it down. Write down what the requirements are and what you have right now. Like I said, you know, you're going to want to see in front of you what your next steps are going to be. And I did do this for each one of the social medias, what the requirements were for each aspect of it, because of the fact that there's not just one aspect of the social media that they're looking for you to like light touch on, right? They want you to use their whole platform. They want to get every single aspect of their platform utilized. The more you use different parts of the platform, the more opportunities are going to be able to come to you for future things that the company is putting out, right? So, like, for example, for those of you who have a small amount of followers, like, for example, on TikTok, I don't think that there's much of a requirement for you to become like a commission-based seller, like third-party seller on that site. Look into it, naturally, but they've been offering a lot more incentives for people to come to their site I know for a fact that I was actually just accepted into TikTok Shop. And y'all know I don't have the same address as my license. So, for me to be able to receive samples, which they do give you free samples, um, for me to receive that, it would go to my previous address. So I can't even use it. But those of you who do have your address and your stuff correct on your license and your home address is correct, if you're wanting to put that information out there, you can utilize the free sample program that they have on there. It's not specifically called that, but like they call it like a creators something program. But you can actually sell from home with no product overhead. It's drop shipping. So, um, my previous industry was automotive, but I was a regional as well as a national representative for both, three different companies. So, selling is in my background, which is great. But for those of you who have never sold a thing in your life, this is actually a really great opportunity for you to be able to get a commission off of this. It's no joke. You just add your items to your showcase and people will buy from your showcase. Like every time they buy from it, you get a commission. And you don't even have to own anything. They're just buying directly from the site. The same exact concept we're taking in for those of us who are actually business savvy and actually have a business that we want to bring customers to our products, right? Same exact concept. The thing is that granted, TikTok and other social medias have a larger reach than you would if you were a local, right? Unless you're utilizing social media or internet of some kind. Now, don't get me wrong, your website probably gets lost in a billion other websites that are out there. So, how are you going to be able to attract all of your customers to your business other than getting your name out there? So, those sites that are opening up opportunities for sellers to purchase through corporate cuts out a lot of the mom and pop shops. Corporatization, as well as the insurance industry, are completely umbrellaing every single aspect of business and life in general. Okay? Probably I would say, within the next 5 years, most mom and pop shops will be owned by a corporation. Now, mind you, it'll still look the same. It'll still smell the same. It'll still sound the same, but it ain't the same. Okay? Yes, certain, especially in the automotive industry, if you are working with an insurance company, they're going to feed you business. They're not going to feed you business from other companies. See what I'm saying? So this, even though feels like a more of a freedom, granted, it actually is more of a hindrance. For those of you who are actually aware of exactly how much is changing right now in the world today, I hope that you are able to benefit from the changes, but at the same time, I hope that you hold strong in the foothold of what has created us to begin with. So, yes, the small mom and pop shop, the lemonade stand, the I'm going to make a mud pie and I'm going to make a fake stand outside and sell my mud pies. I want you to keep that. I want you to keep your imagination. I want you to keep thinking outside the box. I want you to utilize AI or any kind of corporatized takeover, so to speak, in a way that is beneficial for you as well as the people around you. Okay? Like I said, there's loopholes and there's ways to think about things that are outside the norm of every day. And for those of you who are considering yourself to be like part of a 1%, the reason why it's called that 1% is because they see in between the lines. They see what's happening right now. They see what's happened in the past, the patterns, the ways of the past that didn't work and did work. They're looking at the future and what the future of business is, as well as the ways of the world and the way that the world is leaning. Okay. Now, leaning doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be that way. Okay. But we're very heavily leaning towards a specific type of future. Okay. So, in order for us to be able to combat any kind of negativity coming forward towards us from this expansion, this change, this new way of being, this new world order, whatever you want to call it, right? Use it in a way that is beneficial, like I said, to you specifically, but also to the people around you. So, like, think Robin Hood, right? Stealing from the rich to give to the poor concept, right? Yes, you're a criminal, but two wrongs don't make it right. I know. Two rights don't make it wrong, but there's somewhere in between there that, depending on your perspective, is where you're going to sit. Okay. So make sure that where you're sitting in these changes is going to be able to help you flow into your future. I'm trying to help y'all. Whether or not you listen is up to you. Um, okay. So, like I said, taking what you have now, looking at what you need, looking at where you were and what worked and what didn't work over the last 6 months. Okay. Because that's when all that algorithm changed officially. Sometime in the last 6 months to a year. So going forward the next 5 months to the end of this year, that's how much it's going to be implemented. Okay. So that whole year's time is going to be implemented into 5 months. Maybe even less than that. Because remember, we're at a 1.5 to 3 second scroll rate. How much has that changed since 2020? I mean, just in 5 years. So let's look at 1 year. Okay. How much has happened in the past year that has changed? Okay. That's how much more is going to happen in the next 5 months. The algorithm change settles as a plateau and then it peaks again. So, yes, there is a little bit of a dip in there, like a heart rate, but not much. Because once that heart rate dips and goes back up again, it's going to be the next level shit, right? So, yes, you are going to plateau for a period of time. There's going to seem like a dip in it, like a very small dip in it, where it's going to seem like, oh shit, now what are we going to do? And then it's going to spike up again. Okay. So, like, now we've got a hold of it, right? No, you don't, because now shit's about to hit the fan. You're going to become viral, or all of a sudden your algorithm is going to be riding along with the AI algorithm. That's why I keep saying put your information out there as much as possible, because guess what's happening next? AI is taking over everything. What is it going to take with it? The information that it receives. Okay, so get your information out there as much as you can. Remember, you're being watched from every angle. Okay? Even if you're just being watched by satellite or being watched by the Wi-Fi wires in the ground, now that we're going to be going 6G, 7G, whatever, look forward to mental health changes and that also, and mood changes and physical health changes and just a lot of shit. So think of it this way, okay? All the vehicles are going to have AI. All the refrigerators, the washing machines, the TVs, the cell phones, every single aspect of your life is going to have AI in it, okay? If they are able to utilize Wi-Fi from a below ground level to everything that's above ground and being able to see from below ground level up to the satellites, right? And every bit of movement in between. Because remember, every single AI thing that you have has Wi-Fi. So it's going to give you a triangulation point. So they'll be able to watch every single aspect of everything that you've ever been doing since the 70s, right? Now you're going to have a ground view or below ground view level of every movement, talking it more in depth into specific, like, basically directly to your brain. Neuralink and stuff like that are real things. They're already in existence. This isn't anything that I'm talking about that isn't already open knowledge. Okay, so I'm not like making up shit. I'm not like running off rambling on some nonsense that I just, thought about. These are things that are already in existence and they are in our reality right now. So, looking forward into the future, if I'm a business aspect, right, or if I'm social media, or if I'm just trying to like, get famous, whatever, right? Depending on what the famous is for. Um, you're gonna want to be able to have that seen by as much as possible up front while they're booting this shit up, right? So a lot of times, especially in stock markets, people will ride that wave. They'll ride that wave up, and when they feel like that's peak, then they'll sell, right? And so a lot of times people will ride the wave of the algorithm in different directions. Remember, this is not linear anymore. This is not just one straight line and I'm just going to go straight up. No, this is like you're thinking in multi dimensions. All right. You have to think different avenues and multiple streams of income, multiple streams of social media, multiple avenues of being able to network, as well as being able to utilize all of this information to recycle it. Remember, we're recycling this information back through. We're putting that energy out there and we're getting it back. So when we're getting it back is the information that we're downloading, right? When we start to alchemize that energy in a way that is beneficial, we're going to try to push that energy back out, right? But because of the fact that sometimes we don't give it enough time to stabilize, when we're pushing it out, it's unstable. So when it comes back, it's going to come back 10 times as hard, right? Whatever you're putting out, you're getting back 10 times as much. So when you're giving out unstable energy, you're going to get back that much. But you're also going to get back that much good too. See what I'm saying? So when you're putting one out, you're going to end up getting back 20 times as much of that, but half of it's going to be negative. And you have to take that negative with you as a lesson, something to build from, something to learn from, because then that will give you the backing, more of a backing than you already had to begin with, right? Even if you just take the good with you in life, you're only taking half your life with you. I know a lot of us don't want to take the bad with us. It's heavy. I get it. But, like I said, if you can leave that heaviness as a power tool or I say power tool, but if you can leave that heaviness as like the bricks of the baseline, right? So this is the negative shit in your past, right? There's all the negative stuff in your past. So you're going to leave this heavy, heavy, heavy stuff down here. Let's just say. I'm just giving a visual. You're going to leave all this heavy stuff down here. You know it's there. It's in your past. You can't get rid of it. It's there. It's a part of your memory. It's a core in your DNA. It's there. It's there for the rest of your existence as well as into next generations, unfortunately. But you have a chance to use this negative information that you have in your genetic code, in your history, to build forward a future that could never have been possible if you didn't go through these things. Okay? For those of you who are able to alchemize your negative events that happened in your past in a way that works beneficially for you in the future, you're a powerhouse. Okay? You're literally going to be unstoppable because anything negative that they throw at you, you already went through it. You've already been through it. You already got those scars. You have this bullshit past, right? You've already been through it. You're a fucking warrior. You're a survivor. You're whatever you want to title yourself, right? Just know that even if you had a victim mindset in the past, that in this moment could be the most pivotal moment of your entire existence and understanding that you're actually stronger than whatever you went through. You're still here. Still alive. right? I need to make that a t-shirt. But yeah, use those as the bricks to your foundation. If they're the heaviest things in the world, leave them down there. Let them be the foundation to whatever it is that you're building forward. Continue to understand these bricks, though. Understand where the source came from. Understand your reaction to said negative events. And understand that this is a boundary that you're now officially building with the bad things that you have already experienced. This is your wall. This is your solid foundation to build off of. Okay? This is the lowest point of your life. This is the lesson. Okay? And you can only go up from there, right? So go up from there. Use the next bit of information that you get to build on top of that, even if it's little pieces at a time. Okay? Little pieces at a time. Just build it up. You know, you like to do artwork. Maybe you like to write. Maybe you write music. Maybe you like to play video games. Maybe you create new things that never been created before. Maybe, you know, you have a bad day and now all of that seems to have tumbled back down to this first point. Guess what? I'm all right about it. Guess what? I'm going to draw about it. Oops. I'm going to let that go. That actually wasn't as heavy as I thought it was. I just didn't recognize it because I was too afraid to face it. And it wasn't as heavy as I thought it was. You can come back from anything. And I know it's easy for me to say sitting here in my living room with wings on. But you can. You can come back from death if you have to. It's not a very commonly known thing, by the way. If you know where your lowest point is, you can always build from that. If you know what your problems are, if you know what your triggers are, if you know that you have a problem, recognizing it is the first step. And it comes slowly. It trickles in there sometimes. Sometimes you don't realize you have a problem until, like, I don't know, 6 months later. Years later. Decades later. Hopefully today is your wake-up point. So this way you can build the future that you want. It doesn't have to be social media. Like I said, you could use this information for any aspect, any industry, anything, right? So use it for however you need to. I'm just talking on one topic. My vibe and the information that I'm giving is covering a very, very broad stance. So enjoy that. Each one of the social media requirements, as well as any kind of requirements in work, or if you even have requirements in a partnership, make sure that you understand each other's boundaries. Same thing, you know. I was talking to my fiance about marriage, and my mindset, it's a contract. It's business. Marriage is business. When you sign on that dotted line, that is a contract between the two of you. And if that agreement is not met, there are serious consequences that come with that. So, including financial, credit, property, every single thing that you built prior to and during your marriage can be eliminated or expanded on during or after contract is set, completed, right? So when you're going into a relationship, think of it this way. Same thing in partnerships as far as business. If you were to go into business with this person and your entire financial backing, your entire everything was reliant, your life was reliant on this other person, could you believe or trust them enough? Are they capable enough of handling your life? Are they capable enough of holding up to said contract? Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people, especially in relationships or partnerships or whatever you want to call it, not so much on the business aspect of it, more personal. Um, we we kind of like have a personal contract with this person, right? We have an agreement that even in the state of North Carolina, even if it's just verbally done, is still considered legally binding. So, um, so there's implications in every aspect of it. Even if you have a partnership with someone and like you're just lightly dating, like you just met or something, right? You still have to have some kind of lower level agreement with each other. At some point in your life, and I have said this before, what happens when your entire life depends on you selling yourself? Not specifically that, but if we sell ourselves personally every day with our personalities. We give our time, we give our emotions, our energy. Interpersonally, we give the same thing, but we give our more of our energy. And then you go next level up of looking into as far as like business aspects. And I did write this down. Now I can't remember where I wrote it down at. Let me just look through real quick, see if I can find it. I just wrote this down yesterday. I've written so much stuff in the past couple of days, I can't keep up with myself anymore. I really can't. I want to say it was in one of the days. Hold on. Advertising. Websites. Back of advertising. Business. Okay, so personal is body, blood, soul, thoughts. Interpersonal is time and emotions. Local is like trade or money exchange. And business is out and in, right? So we continuously sell ourselves in different aspects of our life every single day, right? Doesn't necessarily have to mean or anything like that. Could be. It could be included because, it is out there. So, whether or not it's legal depends on your state and the territory that you live in. So, and I also don't suggest it. The aspect of selling ourselves, we do this in interviews, we do this in phone calls, we do this when we meet new people. We do this every single day when we're trying to express our thoughts and our emotions and our what we're trying to do, or our next steps, or even if we're trying to talk about like past situations or whatever. um in a small sense, we're selling our time, right? Even though time is man-made construct, it doesn't really exist, but it costs us, right? Every single second of every day, of every moment that we are in existence on this planet, or in this plane, let's just say, is vital to everything else. Our existence alone is vital to everything else in this universe. And even if, let's just say, after you pass, that in my personal experience, you get to see the universe, which is fucking amazing. You will never see anything more beautiful than that. The Hey, one true villain. Slowly losing my mind half a day at a time. You want to join me? So yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say now. So we continue to sell ourselves in a small sense every single day. Whether if you donate blood, if you're on a organ donor list, right? For those of you who aren't and are in the black market. So I'm not like filtering any of this shit, and I'm probably gonna get banned because of it. But the reality is that these things do exist, and it's very scary sometimes because of the fact that there is a dark aspect to everything good that's existing in the world, and it's scary to think about that, because we do see a lot of good in the world, but we also see a lot of bad. So, like I said, you can try to be aware of the negative things that are going on in the world today, or in business, or in personal aspects of ourselves, as well as with other people. Um, but I would lean more towards the positive aspects. The reason why I'm saying this, and I know that it sounds so easy for me to say this, but when you're in a negative mindset, or if you have a lot of negativity around you, even if it's just for a moment, if you can lean towards something positive, it will help light that fire inside of you to be able to continue forward. So, um, hopefully that helps somebody somewhere. Now, continuing with like I said, the social media aspect, make sure that you're keeping up with your stats. Even if, like I said, it's a light touch, the posts, if you have the access to a multi-posting tool, great. If not, you're going to have to do it individually. Reels and stories, like I said, you can clip your videos, you can take screenshots. If you have like a stream that you're doing, even if it's for like a 30-minute stream, which seems like a lot, I'll be honest with you, once I get past 15 minutes, my brain's just like, unless I'm really interested, I'm disassociating. It's going to happen. So, now we look at what is the time frame that we need to be looking at. Okay. Used to could all these other ways, right? But now it's all different. In the past 6 months, everything has changed. So we have to look at what are the changes and what were the processes to those changes. Okay, the beforehand. Because a lot of us, we just wait and see what hits the rock in the bottom of the ocean and wait for the waves. I want you to take this before it gets there, before it peaks. Okay? I want you to ride the wave into the peak. So, um, as much as you can. Now, if there's something that I'm saying that's wrong, please let me know. But this is just from my understanding. So, like I said, from your streams, you could take screenshots and clips, or your lives. All of these can be turned into ads. Okay. Even if you have like a mini clip of a stream, you can actually mute that, put music over it, and put your link tree or your social media post over that as well, and use that. You could take you could take a 3-second clip of a video and turn that into an ad for your whatever, right? It literally, like, me streaming for hours on end is only for a certain set of people. Not everybody wants to sit back and watch me talk for hours on end. Nobody wants that. I'll be honest with you. If I start to listen to podcasts, unless it's something super interesting to me, I'm just not going to watch it. And that's how fast our instant gratification has changed. I'm 43 years old. I never was like this before. The past 5 years have completely inundated me with new instant gratification feeling. And it's from internet. It's from social media. So I'm riding the wave. If it helps me, great. If not, then I'll know by the end of the year, right? Make sure that your promotions and you're promoting yourself as much as possible. If you have promotion sales or whatever you want to call it, or if you are adding a new social media, promote that as well with with your already existing. Okay. And do not forget your thank yous. Your thank yous are part of your posts. Okay? So when if you're asking yourself, "Well, I don't have enough content. I don't have enough. I don't have enough." Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're just not utilizing it in every aspect that you possibly could. You just click and go, right? But for every one picture, there's a million different ways that you can do it, right? Not just including the baseline picture, but now with filters and stickers and every other aspect of creativity within the app itself, is pretty much nothing is impossible anymore. It's just what you're willing to do. Um, so the hardest part in all of this is keeping up with it. Okay. So keeping up with your social medias, each and every one of them, even if like I said, even if it's a light touch every morning, like take 5 seconds. That's more than your actual post time to look over where you're at, what your stats are, where you need to be, what is required if there's any changes. Because sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, I'll open up an app and they got a whole new bunch of shit. Half the time when I open up the new streams, you guys have a bunch of new stuff. So you're going to see pop-ups, you're going to see ads everywhere in every angle that you could possibly look. And especially for those of you who have like meta glasses, you have those pop-up blockers, but you're going to need a lot more than that. Eventually, it's going to be every aspect of the visual point. Okay? Whether it's internal, external, or worldly, right? So, of the world, meaning you can see it in your external world, but you're also seeing it like in the sky. You're seeing it on water. You're seeing it on the side of everything. It's like right in front of you at all times. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so this way you have all aspects of visual point direct into the brain and multiple avenues, not just one, right? Because you have in your eye, basically think of pixels, right? How many pixels are we looking at on a constant basis? These little tiny pixels, right? If you were to integrate, now mind you, this might be illegal, but if you were to integrate ads into every single one of those pixels, you would subconsciously be information pushing into the brain in areas that we never even thought was possible. And that's subliminal. But we get subliminal messaging all the time, whether it's low level sound, which is, frequency is going to be really heavy now going in the future because that's what we're going to be utilizing to transfer the information. We're not going to be using, we could use light source, but it's very unstable, I think. But anyway, so if they're able to utilize Wi-Fi through the air or through, remember, we're completely surrounded by something. There's never nothing. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not there, okay? So we're completely surrounded by this soup of nonsense that's all around us at all times, right? And we're breathing it in, we're breathing it out, and it's completely saturated in all of us at all times. And a lot of times people don't think about life like that. So when you're getting like this frequency go through that, which we all do that already. We give off frequency, we give off brainwaves, we give off energy. So if you're going to use that, right, you could use that yourself for your own. Remember, authenticity is the highest frequency on Earth right now, other than man-made frequencies, maybe. But so staying in your own authenticity is going to keep that frequency high. So this way it projects. Remember, like I said, as far as like an antenna, the higher the antenna used to be, the further it would go, right? So the higher the frequency that you are, the further that you will go, the more expanse that you will be able to reach, right? So if you are able to take moments of your life and express those, right, in a way that is across multiple planes. Remember, we're talking like this is like pixelized at this point. If you're taking a pixel of each one of your social medias, right, and you're putting in your picture in that pixel, you're putting your link in that pixel, it's going to push more because it's riding the wave of what's already in existence, where they've already multiplied what was already there. So if you already have it there, you're just multiplying what you're already doing. Okay? And you're making it, if you can make it automated, not AI, automated, right? There's a difference. AI speaks your brand for you. Automated, yes, it speaks your brand for you, but it's you are automating it. Stay as manual as possible. Please. We went automatic in the cars. We went automatic on the posting. We went automatic on, like reordering stuff. What else did we go automatic on? Our washing machines. Everything became automatic over a period of time, right? Now everything is becoming AI. Yes, we can look at this in a negative aspect. I know for a fact that I sit in the Sarah O'Connor labeling of anti-AI as much as possible. But there is a small portion of me, which is my darker side, which enjoys the AI, enjoys the future motion of what the technology is and all of the advancements and all of this possibility that is out there. You know what I mean? It feeds my ego. It feeds my darker thoughts. It tingles my brain in a way that, I never thought possible. Because it does it all for me. I don't have to do it. I can be that lazy girl era. You know what I mean? And just let it do it. Let it live my life. Let it make decisions for me. Let it blah, 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 blah. Let it take over my entire existence, including my soul. So remember to always have a stronghold footing in reality, please. Keep paper copies. Stay grounded. And try to remember where you came from. Okay? Even if it's scary, hard, and really don't want to look at it, remember that you are a human being. And if for some reason they put your living conscience into a robot, you're still a human. You're still alive. You're still in existence. And you still, when does it come to the point of, okay, let's look at it this way. They've already got Neuralink, right? They already have the ability to upload your conscious mind into an AI. So what's stopping them from doing that? And how are we going to know whether it's AI or human? Because the lines of reality are already blurred. So when we encounter a humanoid robot, as a human being who is already in existence and has been in existence as this human being, encountering a humanoid robot for the first time, you're going to automatically think machine, enemy, right? At what point do we allow the human rights and the human ethics and the human capabilities and intuition and compassion, where does that lie in humanoid robot land? Okay? And how does that affect humans, skin suits, whatever you want to call us, right? How does that affect us when they transfer the consciousness? What happens if you woke up tomorrow and you're a fucking robot? It's a possibility. It's a real possibility now. It does exist. It's not the future anymore. It's right now. And the scary parts and the wonderful parts are all mixed in, and it's all brand new, and it makes you feel some type of way. Right? Are we going to have AI rights? Are we going to have AI human hybrid rights? As of right now, we are not allowing people, human beings from other countries to come to our country because it's based in hate. How is it going to be when, or even, let's just go even another step more than that, interracial couples are hated. People from other countries are hated.
People of different thought processes are hated. There is a baseline of hate, okay, in all things. So what happens when the aliens are us? What happens when the aliens are us? When we are the ones that are hated? When we are the ones that are less than? What's the main fear in all human beings? Having something greater than us that can destroy us in a moment, that could create more in a moment. We are always afraid of something being a higher evolution than our own, right? We talk about angels and demons, things that have more power than us. You know, we talk about aliens or, government power, right? It's always a fear of something stronger or better than us. But what happens when it's us that is the enemy? What happens when we are the ones that need the help, right? So when you experience that hatred in the world, right? It's hard for us to take a moment and step back and look at, okay, well, that is a direct mirroring of self. So if I was in that situation, what would I want someone to do for me, right? But they also know, the opposing party already knows that you're utilizing that information. So yes, there is manipulation. There is that sidestep, and to use that as a way to pull you in, right? That's how psychological manipulation ends up happening. So yes, it's hard for us to trust other human beings, but and we definitely don't trust AI. We don't trust robots, but some of us do. And the same concept in like iRobot of, Will Smith getting upset with the grandma of like, why are you letting this thing in your house? You know what I mean? We already let it in. We already have cameras in every aspect of our home. We already have Wi-Fi. We already have this baseline internet that has been feeding us this information for years, right? We did not go out and look for this information ourselves. We are not behaving in the same mannerisms as our ancestors as being the hunters, right? We are literally no longer a hunter. We're now a gatherer. We're no longer the using our own brains to maneuver through life and maneuver through the world. We're now utilizing the internet to tell us how to maneuver. See what I mean? The algorithm change is just another aspect of the internet telling you how to move. You're not learning how to move on your own. And that's why I'm saying, like, learn ways that you can utilize outside of what is already being implemented. Continue to use your brain, make new pathways. You're going to have that in the future. Like I said, as far as cross posting, when you're using this new algorithm, if you're wanting to ride this wave, right? If you're a business owner or you have seller sites, make sure you're cross posting that information with them. Like I said, as far as the OOTDs in the morning, if you have seller site items that you're wearing or you have made, make sure you're showcasing them. Okay? Use that showcased OOTD as an ad, as a linkage for your seller sites. Okay? Like I said, as far as with Amazon's Prime days are coming up. So for those of you who are influencers, please make sure that you're sharing your influence pass or your link for people to be able to use your link so this way you can get a commission from it. Granted, I know that a lot of these aspects that I'm talking about are not big money makers. The whole point in this is to get that 1% of money movement going. You want to start the trickle, even if it's from multiple avenues, okay? Even if you get 1% from every single one of them, just keep moving. Just keep doing it. Same thing as you would have done in one aspect. I want you to do that one aspect in 10 aspects. We're only human, right? And if you can automate it, fine. Don't use AI. Try to word it in your own way as much as possible. I'll go ahead and tell you, a lot of you are going to go ahead and utilize AI. If you can utilize AI in a way that you don't lose your soul, good luck. Or your business or all of your profits and your identity and your existence. So, I've already given up my information because I've already gone live. I've already been on the internet. I've been on social media for decades. Maybe not all of them, but, you know, back in the day, MySpace was a thing. You know what I mean? What was this shit? So, yeah. So when you're doing your advertising, make sure that you're looking at not just one aspect. You're going to want to look at business aspect, yes, but you're also going to want to look at your local area, what is available for you to trade off services or to do some kind of money exchange as far as like sponsorships or time or space, utilizing local businesses for storefrontage, you know, space. Also, drop shipping. Like I said, you can utilize other businesses to do your business for you and just collect a small commission off of that. It would give that business an extra kick in, you know, their finances too. So, interpersonal, make sure that you are networking as much as possible, even if it's just going to the store. Wear your logo shirt, wear your Linktree clothes, or your, you know, give away a keychain or two. Like, the interpersonal networking is going to give you the most boost than anywhere else because word of mouth is like wildfire. Okay. And unfortunately, yes, the negative burns faster, but you know, that growth is always there behind it. So, um, like I said, as far as time and emotions, make sure that, you know, you understand what your customers want, what your clients want, what your subs want, what your fans want, you know. And like I was telling Jeff earlier, the reason why I probably only have a few stream viewers is because what I'm talking about is not what they want to hear. It's not the normal. It's not the video game that in the background everybody's watching, or maybe my voice puts you to sleep. Maybe you watch my stream just so this way you can get some sleep. Who knows? But yeah, you know, do outside the normal things. Put your advertising in places that have nothing to do with what you're doing. Okay? Embed the system. I mean, if AI is doing it, why can't we? Right? Celebrities are human beings too. I'm on TV right now. I'm a celebrity. What's the difference? I mean, other than pay rate, you know. That's the only difference. The only difference between me and you is money. That's it. I'm just doing it with no money. So what does that tell you about me? Authenticity. Whew. Man, it burns. So, now don't get me wrong, if I had a lot of money, I'd probably be like, money does change people. I do know that. It makes me very, very paranoid very quickly. Overthink a million things. Like, I do that normally anyway. Alright, so advertising, make sure you're cross-posting, linkages, in-stream ads. Make sure that you have your totals for those in-stream ads. Like, for example, if those of you who are still streaming through Twitch or something like that, you're getting paid for the ads that are being put up on the stream. So in the background, yeah, it might be like, I don't know, 50 cents for every 2 hours or something like that, but you are getting a small trickle of an income, right? Now, granted, I understand you guys are not going in that avenue. It's totally fine. And probably what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm trying to get the baseline understanding of each one of these aspects so this way I can start to move forward. The thing is, though, is that all of these aspects are going to continuously change. So you're going to have to keep up with those changes. But you're also going to have to know what was previously there and what worked and didn't work. And that's the hard part about business is keeping up with those changes, right? So, and the same thing in life. Like we have to keep constantly changing. Our bodies change constantly. You may not realize it, but go look in the mirror, real close, for a while. I'll tell you, compared to 10 years ago, you look different. So, let's see. So yeah, make sure that you are keeping up with those changes as well as any kind of requirements for each one of the sites, because now they're going to get really competitive with each other, because at a baseline all the social media sites are pretty much all the same. Now with AI, they're going to get creative, right? AI is going to lead the future of social media, as well as all electronics, as well as all toys. Pretty much everything that you're going to have is going to have some kind of electronic component as a part of it. So, who's going to fix those? We thought back in the day that if you learn how to code or how to fix technology, you'll have a job when you get older. Yeah, sure. No, that's no longer a case. Because now we have something called dark factories that are factories, just like everything else around you, but they're run by AI. And they're also ran by humanoid robots, not humans. This will be very, very prevalent in a lot of your larger companies as of today. A lot of people are already losing their jobs because of AI. It has pretty much replaced all of everything that we've ever known. So, again, please continue to create your own stuff. I want human made. I want it. If you don't want to give it to anyone else, or if you're deciding to lean more towards the AI, please give me your content or your creations beforehand. Please. Because I don't want AI. I don't want AI created things. I want human created things. Because to me, they're more valuable than anything AI could ever create. A human life is only given maybe at the most 120 years. AI will have infinity. To me, human products are now more valuable than anything else on the market. Think about it that way. Quality over quantity, right? So, merchandise. Again, referencing local companies as well as other content creators. Maybe your friend knows a friend knows a friend knows a friend, but I would lean more towards the stranger. So, brand name, make sure that your logos and brand names are all set up. For those of you who are following the brand creators, go ahead and give them a like at least. You can utilize your merchandise as part of a giveaway, as well as new products. You can actually create merchandise anywhere that you go just by signing it. I suggest trying to create a new product a day or week or something like that, and do a giveaway a month. If you do have new products every day, you're not going to want to have overhead, so try to give them away as much as possible. People love free shit. Yearly new product drops, as well as remember, we are still looking at the traditional baseline for those who are still further away from the AI future than what most of the inner cities and stuff are. But yes, you do have like a little bit of a frame of like a year, but I would lean more towards like month, week, day. Because again, we're going back from having like an hour stream to now we have 1.3 to 3 seconds for a stroll time, and then 15 seconds to 15 minutes for a attention span time. And I mean, 15 minutes is really pushing it. So when you have your if you're going to apply that same concept, because remember, we're thinking in Fibonacci sequence. Every single thing repeats itself multiple times in the same pattern, in different areas, in different angles, in different aspects of the same exact path that you're already on. Okay? So you're picking and choosing what you're wanting to take with you down this DNA train in the middle of the Fibonacci sequence. You are the center of the Fibonacci sequence. You are the center of the universe. You are the center of every single aspect of your life. Okay? So build from it. So same concept. Like I said, year is like 15 minutes. Okay? So think of it in that kind of concept, pushing it 30 minutes. But and then the 3-second scroll is like, let's just say 3 to 5 days. Okay? And then the 1.5-second decision is in that day, right? Every single day you make a decision. That's your 1.5. So by the middle of your day, make a decision as to what you want to utilize as your next step, whether that's a merch or if it's another social media, if it's another seller item, if it's another brand or aspect from different branch off of whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're creating, whatever you're leaning into. Hey. I've always tried to say words and names on here and I can never do it. So there's that. If you are not financially capable of investing in next step, whether it's someone coming to you or you wanting to go into your next step, again, remember that word of mouth is everything, okay? And when you're going in the internet aspect, your information that you're putting out there is the same thing as what you're wanting to receive. So if you're wanting to receive fans, followers, likes, hearts, diamonds, whatever you want to call it, if you're wanting to receive something, you have to speak it into existence, okay? So you have to tell your fans, you have to tell your followers what it is that you want. Same thing is in wish lists or like a needs list or something like that, right? Say you have a certain amount of followers that you need to meet. Put that out there. 43. Those of you who want to know all that. So like put that information out there so this way you can receive, even if you only receive 1% of that information back, even if it's just a verbal confirmation of no, I don't have it, right? Like say for example, yesterday, I had someone come to me and they wanted to make my logos. Unfortunately, right now I'm not financially fit, so I cannot say yes to that at this moment. It is a no, but it doesn't mean that it's a no going forward. It means that as of this moment, it's a no. That could completely change overnight. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? So give it that opportunity, the next opportunity, even though it's a no. It gives you the next opportunity to be able to look forward into the future. So if someone, even in business, if someone tells you, no, I'm not interested, okay, great. Do you think that it would be okay for me to come back in like a month? You know, would there be a better time for me to reach back to you? Get something on the calendar. Get something set in stone. Get a next step. Like, hey, you know, I'm a client of yours and I'll see you next week, you know, kind of thing. Put it out there that there's future for it. Same thing in contracts. You always want to make future plans. You want to say what the next step is going to be, or if you're in business, you want to know, you know, what the next trends are, or, you know, where your business is going. As far as personally, what are you doing today? It's just as simple as remembering to put the heart back in humans. You know, back in the day, I wanted to put the heart back in corporate. I thought that, you know, by me going into the corporate world and my personality and the way that I am, I would put the heart back in corporate, and I'd make people see that, you know, there's still human beings here. And I was naive, and I was proven very, very wrong very quickly. That corporate is nothing but numbers. It is a numbers game, and no matter how high up on that fucking ladder that you think that you are and whatever your title is, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can be fucking cut just like that. Okay. And especially with this new AI era. Unfortunately, corporate is overtaking everything. So while we can still be humans, let's be humans as much as possible. Let's fuck up the algorithm, right? So, make sure that you're putting your information out there. Make sure that you're getting your merchandise out there, that you're getting your linkages, your cross-referencing to your seller sites if you have them, or if you have a certain type of aspect that you're looking for this to cross over into. Have fun. Or if you're just listening to me babble on so you can sleep, enjoy it. So, because that's one thing I can definitely do is talk nonstop to myself without nonsense. So, make sure that you're keeping up with your collaborations, whether it's in business or with friends, family, doesn't matter, or even collaborating with yourself sometimes. And please, for the love of God, don't forget your thank yous. Part of your merchandise and your advertising should always be thank yous. At the very, once that is all said and done, right? You still have reality to take care of because we don't have robots cleaning our houses for us yet. Which, by the way, all of you guys that have one of those like really Roombas or one of those small little circle things that cleans your floors, yeah, they're the most that I find in the Goodwill bins. So keep that in mind. So for those of us who don't have maids and have to actually do our own house chores, make sure that's our next step, house chores. Do your review. So back to reality here for a second. Do your review, your room, your areas, room by room, by the way. Daily, monthly, yearly maintenance, budgets, and wish lists, because you can have wish lists for your household stuff. Your needs list and actual order. Make sure to keep up with special events and holidays. I personally like to decorate for holidays when I can. And any changes or renovations. So today is working out Wednesday. So So today's house chore is living room in 15-minute tidy. So going into house chores, make sure, like I said, you're keeping up with your daily, your monthly, your yearly, any kind of maintenance. Maintenance is always going to be a key point. Budgeting, for most of us, that's a fucking nightmare. Wish lists per room, make sure that you're keeping up with what's needed in each one of the rooms. Add to order if you need to. Like I said, as far as special events and holidays, a lot of times we end up making this wonderful plan for a really big party, but then we forget to buy toilet paper. So, make sure to keep your room by room included in your special events. Any kind of changes that you are wanting to do, keep up with that, as well as any renovations that are needed. That's why maintenance is so important. This is where you can keep up with that stuff. So, going into Wednesday. Tuesday. ¿Dónde es Wednesday? Budget. Aha! Worked out Wednesday. Okay. So, is that a bean? I can't tell what that is. Review plan for workout, diet plan as well.
There you are in landscape.
Jeff's in there looking at old pictures. That was from when I was landscaping. That's funny. I've done a lot of physically laboring jobs and regretted every minute of it. And now that I'm older and since the wreck and everything, I'm feeling it. Like, I feel it now. Like, if I work out too much, I feel it now. It's weird. Um,
There you are, manhandling that chainsaw.
yeah. I think that's on my Instagram, actually, if y'all want to check that out. He's talking about the one where I'm holding the chainsaw over the trees. This is going back like 3 years ago or so. Alright, so let's require this content. Where's my workout page? Oh, I can close it if I record. Close all those out, actually. Alright. Alright, weekly workout. I'm already doing cardio.
And eating junk food.
Yeah, a lot of junk food. I'm very
I
pissed
do
off at
cardio
myself.
and I eat a Snicker bar.
Oh no, we don't just eat Snicker bars. We eat bowls of cereal, pizza, KFC, ice cream, candy. Yeah, we go on like a fucking binging smorgasbord after we work out, and it's horrible. And I've gained back all the weight that I tried
We
to
don't
lose.
lose.
200 pounds
I don't even
anymore.
wanna
Like, I'm
hear.
so tired of fucking weighing 200 pounds. But I love food. And I have no discipline in myself at all. I see food and I'm just like, yes, come to me. Especially if it's tasty at all. I am definitely a sucker for taste bud stuff. Alright. Like my water. My water tastes like Easter candy. It's an issue. It's a problem. I'm drinking no like sugar-free water flavoring that tastes like Easter candy because I don't like the way the water tastes. So I have to have it sweet for me to drink it. Anyway, okay. So Jeff and I are supposed to be on a workout plan, but it's not working very well. So we need to readjust this like immediately for health purposes. So currently I start off with the hip inductors, and then, which is probably totally wrong. I'm probably hurting myself more than helping myself. Because I don't ever warm up. I just go straight into it at 100 pounds. All of my machines are at 100 pounds now. So I do the legs, I do the pull down thing. Sometimes I'll do the push down, but I don't always do that. I started doing like the one that you pull towards you, just because of like the back fat rolls. Anyway, so um, I was doing the leg presses, but my knee started fucking with me, like hurting a lot, so I stopped doing that entirely. I was doing the Stairmaster thing for a little while. I got up to the point where I was doing like 17 to 20 floors in 5 minutes, which was good, I thought. But again, my knee is an issue. So, and my lower back ends up hurting me like really bad after a while. So, I actually just kind of lower leveled it down to treadmill, but my treadmill was at 4. The incline was at 4, and I was doing 2.5 to 3.5 for the speed on it for the entirety for about 15 minutes. So again, my knee, I'm probably beating the crap out of my knee and not helping myself. So, um, so I want to have a little bit more of a disciplined aspect in myself at a baseline, not just for working out, but also for my everyday and um, just kind of building a new aspect of life that I didn't have there before. And it's very difficult because you're having to fail and succeed all in the same moment all the time, as is much of life. um, but um, it's ultimately up to me to decide to make the final decision in this, and that when that moment happens, I have to decide. You have to take that time and have that self discipline to stop myself in that moment to make that decision. A lot of times we just let things slide. We just go with it because it feels like it's easy or it's comfortable, and we a lot of times we don't say no, even if it's something that we want. Sometimes we don't say no to ourselves because it's not good for us. You know what I mean? And so you have to learn how to discipline yourself to be able to um, have that solid foundation. You have to give yourself that extra backbone to be able to say no to whatever it is that's going on. And a lot of times we don't say no because we don't recognize self. We don't understand ourselves enough to be able to make that decision. And so taking that moment to really sit in that few seconds of that 1.5-second decision um, really does help be able to give you that power to be able to make the decision to move forward. So, and even if it's just like something as simple as somebody handing you something or saying something to you, you don't have to accept what somebody else says to you. You can understand that they said it and leave it outside this nice little beautiful white bubble that you've left yourself in that's 6 feet wide. Remember, COVID bubble. We have boundaries. We're understanding boundaries. So make that 6 foot bubble your own personal peaceful space to pick and choose where you're going to make your decisions from. Imagine if you're completely surrounded by a circle of a table, right? Most of you end up sitting at a table at some point in your life, right? But imagine you're at the center of this circle table, and people are going to hand you or say things to you or hand you papers or hand you things across this desk, right? From all angles, not just one, from all angles and all the time. You're not going to be able to fit all that stuff on your desk. Eventually, it's going to pour over on you, and it's going to be really heavy, and it's going to start to make you feel like you're drowning, right? So you are the executive, you are the CEO, you are the final decision maker, you are the ultimate decision maker, and the only decision maker for your own life. Unless you live somewhere that doesn't have freedom. So, and a lot of times we sit and speak on something from a space that we know nothing about. And our lack of knowledge seems almost ignorant. A lot of times you guys come to me and you're from different social medias or you're from different aspects of, whichever way you came to me, right? And you experience a new aspect of me or what I'm talking about or a thought process or a perspective. So when I come across y'all and you come to my table and you start to bring me information and and offer your services, or you say that you want to do all these follows, or you want to do contemplation work with me, or if you're wanting to learn more about different social medias or something like that, or if you're wanting to find out more information about me, yeah, I'm going to look at that like it's coming across my desk. I'm, a friend request. I'm going to look at that as if it's coming across my desk. Opinions, it's coming across my desk. I can choose to file it and save it for later, or I can choose to file it in the trash can. Either way, it's getting filed, right? Or I can completely block it from coming across my desk because I don't want that shit. So I could do it civilly, professionally, per my last email. Hope this finds you well. So, you know what I mean? So, run with it. But in the meantime, make sure that you're only allowing within that space whatever it is that you feel is going to be beneficial for you. When I say self-centered, I don't mean in an egotistical, narcissistic, you know, vain kind of way. I mean, like, I want you to be so aware of yourself that anything that comes across your path has to come across your desk first. And you have to be the decision maker as to whether or not you accept it. That's how self-centered I want you to be. Centered in self. Okay. So when I personally am having an issue with this, I realize that it's because I'm letting it slide. I'm letting it slide across my desk, maybe even under the table, so to speak. You know what I mean? So even if it's passing my own consciousness, like, oh, hey, I'm part of the party, no, you crash and burn that way, okay? So try to maintain as much as possible, and if you slip up, it's okay. Be aware of it. Don't let it happen again, kind of thing. And if you do let it happen again, just try your best to maintain the focus on that one specific thing, because then you start to realize that's a weak link within yourself. So again, I know for a fact that mine is sugar as far as workout Wednesday goes. Mine is sugars and carbs. Those are my two main things that are my enemy. Because past that, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even eat a lot of salt. I don't eat a lot of, unless it's in the food already, like fast food or something like that. I don't even cook with a lot of salt. I do cook with salt, but not a lot. And the type of salt that I have is like a no salt, so it's like fake salt. Anyway, so I already know that at a baseline, if I'm just to cut those two things out, I still need to replace them with two things, because my brain is going to try to replace it, whatever the lack is, with something else similar to what I was already experiencing, because it still wants to hit that high. You know what I mean? So that sugar high, so to speak. Sugar high. Anyway. So I replaced my originally, so when I first started doing this, I replaced my sugar with honey or no sugar products that were sweet, like my drink. Problem is, now I got something sweet. Now I want more of something sweet. So yeah, I'm drinking more water, but now my brain is thinking, okay, I'm craving something sweet. I'm craving something sweet. I'm getting it, but it's not hitting the same. So now my brain is trying to replace that high, the sugar high that I would have hit, because it's like getting like I was about to say some other reference. So so the brain is not reaching that peak, right? So it's like edging on the very peak of it, right? So it's going to try to replace or add to something that could enhance that already existing sweetness with the high that I would have normally been used to with sugar. Okay? So now it's going to pull in, what can it pull in? Oh, I'm going to crave fruit, because fruits are natural sugars. I'm going to crave candy bars. I'm going to crave carbs, right? I'm going to start leaning towards the salty side of life. I'm going to go into the savory. Now I need a steak. Now I need potatoes. Now I need, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these things that your brain processes and works through because it's not hitting the same. It's got to replace it. So now you start eating more carbs, or you eat a lot more fruit, which turns into sugars in your body. So now your body's getting the high, but it's not getting the same exact high as it was before. So now it tries to replace even more. See what I'm saying? So you end up binge eating to replace what you would have already been getting from that little bit. Okay? Same thing with any kind of addiction. Even if it's with electronics, social media, that whole scroll rate thing. If you were to take away an electronic from anybody who is younger than 20 years old for an hour, y'all already laughing. I can hear the echoes of laughing through the internet. Take a phone away from a kid for more than 10 minutes. Take electronics away from the kids for a short period of time and see what happens. If you've never experienced someone who has had an addiction before, you will see the darkest side of that being come out instantly. You'll get to see their demons up front. For those of you who have never experienced someone who has had an addiction, and a severe addiction, come out of their nice, happy little shell, I'm telling you right now, it's a scary fucking thing. Okay? These people will do anything to get that high. And when I say high, I'm talking the electronic hit that happens to your brain through all electronics everywhere. What happens when that stops? If you're hitting a firing in the brain every second, consistently, for the entirety of someone's youth, okay? When you take that away, it's like taking away oxygen. You ever try to take someone's oxygen away? You ever see what their reaction is? They're going to fight for their fucking life. And they're going to destroy everything in its path until they get what they want. So what happens when you have an entire generation that is entirely dependent on electronics and you take it away? What if they shut down the internet today? All of a sudden, just a random attack, shut down the internet today, just for the United States, let's just say. Granted, yes, luckily there's multiple different types of internet services, so the possibilities of grand scale is very minimal. But, you know, the possibility is there, right? Government could shut down the internet over a large space of just in a moment, in an instant. What if they did that? What if we had to shut down the internet permanently? What if AI got so bad in taking over people's lives and creating chaos that we had to shut down the internet completely? Worldwide. What would a freaking, within a few seconds, worldwide pandemonium. Just as fast as that scroll rate is just as fast as that next hit happens. And every single person under the age of 20 has been getting that hit consistently since birth.